Yo, what's up everybody? It's Profit Gaming 77. Guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I want to talk about some of my favorite games of 2025. As we look back at 2025, we had so many awesome games that came out. Unfortunately, I didn't have an opportunity to play all of them, but the ones I did play, I handpicked the ones I really liked, and I came up with 7 games that I really enjoyed, and I want to discuss why I enjoyed them. Now, these games aren't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. However, I will be covering aspects of the game that I liked, and I'll probably do 1 or 2 things that I didn't like about the game. But mostly it's going to be covering the games that I really liked, and mainly the positives of these games. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into the list. Alright guys, so the first game on my list is going to be Kazan, the First Berserker. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is a Souls-like game, and this game is absolutely phenomenal. What sets this game apart from other Souls-like games is the art direction. So it's kind of like an anime, and it kind of blends it in with realism. So I really like how they blended reality with anime, and I absolutely love the game. The game is hard. The game is very difficult, and I like the difficulty because it gives you a sense of achievement. Love the bosses in this game. The story was pretty good. It wasn't like groundbreaking or anything, but it was definitely an acceptable story. Love the enemies. The only thing I didn't like about the enemy types is that they rehashed old enemies that you fought in the game, or there will be a different enemy with the same movesets as another enemy, so I didn't like that. Love the weapons. I think you choose between 3 different weapons. You choose the spear, the heavy sword, and the 2 blades, and you know, I guess depending on your play style, you could choose either one of those and go through the game with that. I chose the spear because I like it because it's like a ranged weapon, so it kind of keeps the enemies at bay. And then you're given like multiple skill trees, so you could, you know, upgrade your weapon, upgrade like different moves, so you can add moves to your you know, overall move sets, I guess you could say. And man, this game was absolutely amazing. Another thing I liked about Kazan the First Berserker was the music. The music is absolutely amazing. It probably has the best music of any game this year. Now, I never played Expedition 33, and a lot of people saying the music is phenomenal. I have yet to play that game, but for me, you know, Kazan the First Berserker had some of the best music ever. Absolutely loved it. So yeah, man, Kazan the First Berserker is the first up on this list. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about this game. If you played it, is this on your list of games in 2025 that you absolutely loved? Now, guys, let's move on to the next game. All right, guys, so the next game on my list of best games of 2025 is Doom: The Dark Ages. Guys, I absolutely love this game. Man, this game was super fun. It was fast-paced. I believe it's an FPS game. Never played any Doom game. I think the only Doom game I played was like the PS1 Doom game back in the days. Now, I heard that there was a couple Doom games that came out on PS4. I actually bought those games because that's how much I love Doom: The Dark Ages. Now, I'm not too familiar like with the story. The story wasn't that memorable, but the gameplay was absolutely fun. I love how they incorporated the shield into the game, and that definitely helped me out a lot. And I love the enemy types. The game was very challenging. It wasn't easy by any stretch of the imagination, but the game was absolutely fun. Love the music. A lot of people said that the music compared to the games prior wasn't as good, but for me, in this game as an introduction to the Doom series, I absolutely loved it. And I think Doom: The Dark Ages was actually a prequel to its predecessors, which was really good. Now, the downside to playing Doom: The Dark Ages first is that when you jump into the other games, it's definitely going to be a downgrade because mechanically, this game is absolutely amazing. You have the shield, you have different types of guns. Now, there was a gun, you know, it's all hazy in my mind, but there was a gun. It kind of shot like these like laser type orbs. That was one of my favorite guns in the game. And you get guns as you progress through the story. And I like how they mixed and matched the enemies as you progress in the game. You know, there's a lot of variety. So I really appreciated that about Doom the Dark Ages. Now, if you haven't played this game, please play this game. This game is absolutely amazing. I know when it first came out, there was a lot of like issues as far as bugs and things like that, but they patched those things up. Now, I played it on the PS5. I know this was a lot. There was a lot of that on the PC side of things, but when I played it on the PS5, I didn't run into a lot of problems. My game didn't crash like it did on PC for some people, but this game was absolutely phenomenal. It was flawless. It was difficult in some sense, but once you get a grasp of the game, it's absolutely amazing. Doesn't overstay its welcome. It's a pretty decent sized game, and the payoff at the end was pretty good. It's a very epic game, so I highly recommend that you guys check this game out. Let's move on to the next game on this list. So guys, the next game on my list is Mafia: The Old Country. Now, I'm not too familiar with the Mafia series. As some of you may know, I played Mafia, the Definitive Edition, on the channel, and I absolutely loved it. But Mafia: The Old Country definitely takes it to the next level. I loved the story, and let me tell you guys, you may make fun of me, but at the end of the game, I cried. I bawled my eyes out because the game is pretty much a tragedy. I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't played it yet, but it's like a tragedy. So the game is based on this kid named Enzo who works in the mines, and he gets into an altercation with one of the people that runs the mine, and he gets introduced to the what's the name of that family? I forget the name of the family, but it's a very prominent crime family in the game, and there's two crime families at war with each other, and I guess Enzo gets caught in the middle and he becomes a hitman and he rises through the ranks. So definitely an amazing story. And then he falls in love with the Don's daughter, and that just gets him into a world of trouble. And it's very hard throughout the game for him to hide his love for the Don's daughter, because he doesn't know how the Don is going to accept this. But you know, the story takes you through a series of missions for the Don, and a lot of things unfold, and characters die, and you know, you get attached to these characters, and you know, some of them die off, and some of them backstab and betray you. Such an amazing story, man. So much is going on in that story, but it's so cohesive. It's a linear game. A lot of people were kind of upset at the fact that it wasn't a traditional open world game, but I wasn't, because there was so many games that came out this year, and I wanted to be able to have time to play the ones that I really wanted to play. And the fact that it wasn't open world was a breath of fresh air, because there was a lot of open world games that came out this year. But it was definitely a breath of fresh air. I liked the aesthetics. The aesthetics were beautiful. There were some frame rate dips I noticed while playing the game, but it wasn't too much of a big deal for me. It didn't crash on me or anything like that. The game did run smoothly overall. And the one thing I didn't like about this game was the car driving. I think Mafia has this thing where they cannot get the driving aspect of the game right, but that's okay, because you have the option to choose between your car and to ride on a horse. So if you didn't like the car, I think you could choose between a car and a horse, depending on certain missions. I like the fact that you could skip certain not missions, but you know, when you had to traverse to get to the mission, you could skip that part, which was actually very pleasant. Love the characters. As I said before, the characters had a lot of there was a lot of character arcs. The characters had so much depth, and it was just a great story. You get invested in these characters, man. And I like the guns in the game as well. The guns were absolutely amazing, especially that shotgun. You know, they could have refined the gun battles a little bit more, but it wasn't too bad. I felt like the knife fights were a bit repetitive, which is okay. But it was good. It was good nonetheless. It wasn't horrible. But overall, this game was absolutely amazing. If I had to rank it, I'd probably give it a 7 or 8 out of 10. Excellent game. And also, let's not forget, the music was absolutely amazing as well. So definitely check this game out. It's not too long. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Phenomenal story. Pretty decent gameplay. You would definitely enjoy this game. I highly recommend it. So guys, let's move on to the next game on this list. So guys, the next game on my list is none other than my game of the year, Death Stranding 2. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the Death Stranding lore and the story of Death Stranding, a lot of people said that Death Stranding 1 was a walking simulator and that's all it amounted to. But for me, I absolutely love that game, and I think that Hideo Kojima took Death Stranding a step further with the sequel. He listened to a lot of the critiques that a lot of the gamers had about Death Stranding 1, and he improved upon what was already good, and he also improved upon things that were complaints in the previous game. And I think this game is an absolute masterpiece. It's kind of sad that this game didn't really win any awards at the Game Awards, but I, in my heart, believe that this is the game of the year. The music was absolutely incredible. The story was absolutely incredible, even though there's aspects of the story that's pretty hard to grasp. For the most part, you could get an idea of what the story is about, especially if you play Death Stranding 1. I highly recommend that before you play Death Stranding 2, play Death Stranding 1 just to kind of get a feel for the story, and then going into 2, it's a continuation. Absolutely amazing. I loved the traversal. The game and the world itself is absolutely beautiful. It's an open world game, and they definitely improved upon the combat system. The combat system is absolutely refined and amazing. I love the enemy types. I love that you get to fight human enemies as well as these otherworldly creatures called BTs. Absolutely amazing. And you know, the game has so many twists and turns, and you just never know where the story is going to take you. I love the unpredictability of the story, and it just, like, at the end, it just blew my mind. That huge, like, plot twist was absolutely amazing, because the game has you under the impression that certain things are this way and that's how it's going to be, but then at the end it throws this huge curveball, and it's absolutely amazing. I love the protagonist of the game. I like the fan service to the Metal Gear Solid fans in the game as well. It's absolutely amazing. Man, the guns are amazing, but I feel like when I played the game, I didn't utilize all the gameplay mechanics and the guns. Now, I watched a friend of mine, Trigger Trey, play the game, and he was absolutely killing it, and he was utilizing as many gameplay mechanics as the game had to offer, and I'm like, man, I didn't know that you could do that in the game. And the game has a lot of that. Like, there's a lot of things that you're not aware that you can do in the game unless you actually look it up on YouTube. There's so much you can do in the game, and there's a lot of players that are very creative in their approach. I felt like I was just kind of scratching the surface, and I was playing like the average gamer, but there's so many gamers out there that really invest time and energy to traversing in many different creative ways. You know, you can build bridges, you can build all these different things to help you in a traversal. And I like the aspect of the game where you build a certain thing or a certain structure to help you along your journey, but it also helps other players that you will never get to meet as well. So it's like the game is about connection. So if I build a bridge, another gamer can reap the benefits of me building that bridge to help his journey along, and I absolutely love that. I think that's what the game is essentially about. It's about connecting with others and helping others. And this is idea of the stick versus the rope. The rope is to pull people in, while the stick is to push people away. And it's absolutely amazing. It's a masterpiece. It's beautifully and you know, expertly crafted, and I absolutely love this game. This is my game of the year for 2025, and I highly recommend you go check this game out if you haven't already. Now guys, let's move on to the next game. All right guys, the next game on my list of best games of 2025 is none other than Ghost of Yotei. So guys, I didn't have much expectations for this game because I didn't know how they were going to handle this in light of Ghost of Tsushima being an absolute masterpiece. And I was like, can they be able to improve upon what's already a perfect game, in my opinion, and probably one of my favorite games of all time? But they absolutely exceeded my expectations, and it blew me away. This game is absolutely phenomenal. Love the story. At first, when you get into the story, it just seems like a regular revenge tale. But as it unfolds and as you play the side missions, which I played all of them, it just tells a very compelling story. And the story definitely just hits you in the end. I was crying in the end at certain things. And man, I'm a very emotional person when it comes to like really compelling stories. The characters definitely are compelling as well, and they definitely pull you in and you get invested in these characters. I love the side missions. They definitely know how to make really good side content, and I absolutely recommend that if you're going to play this game, please play the side content because it'll help you level up. It'll help you get new outfits and things of that nature. And man, let me tell you something. Even though they didn't have the stances like Ghost of Tsushima did, they definitely had an array of weapons that you could use to fight depending on your playstyle and your combat style. My favorite weapon had to be the dual katanas. I absolutely love that weapon. I just felt like it was a good balance. But there was like the ball and chain. There was the giant katana. There was the dual katanas, and I think there was the spear. But I absolutely love the dual katanas, man. But depending on your playstyle, you might like a different weapon. I love the outfits that the main character, I forget her name, Atsu, yeah. So she has all these different outfits, and I think the outfits actually help you as far as like certain combat abilities. It like some of them help you with like what's it called? What's the thing it's called? Like defense, offense. There was different outfits that boosted different aspects of the game. Like some of them boosted health a little bit. And so did the charms. The charms I didn't really play too much with because there was so many that it became overwhelming. But other than that, it was absolutely amazing. The enemies are a lot tougher in this game, let me tell you. But another thing I liked about this game too is that you can choose which main boss you can go after. So it's not completely linear, although it is very linear, but you can decide, okay, I want to go after this boss first and he'll take 6, or I want to go after this boss. So I just kind of went with the flow and just let it take me wherever, you know, the story went. And that's how I decided to play. And I was doing all the side missions, and oh man, the side missions are absolutely amazing. And the music is just as good, if not better, than Ghost of Tsushima. The music is absolutely amazing, especially the third trailer music. I love that theme. It seems like that was the theme going through the game. Absolutely amazing. Weapons, music, gameplay mechanics are all absolutely fun. I love traversal. The traversal is very simple, not hard to understand. The upgrades are awesome as well. You go to these altars to be able to upgrade different aspects. You also have the wolf as like a side character to help you along the way as you go to these camps and fight these enemies. Really amazing stuff. And you can also upgrade your wolf, which is absolutely cool. Absolutely love this game, man. I have to say, man, this is like one of my top 5 games this year. Absolute banger. If you haven't played this game, go and play it. Play all the side missions. Get as much drip and as much upgrades as you can, because it definitely will help you along the way. And the combat will be a lot easier if you do so. But definitely highly recommend this game. So guys, let's move on to the next game on this list. So the next game on my list is based on a beloved game, also a game by Hideo Kojima, and that is Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. So this is the remake of an already classic game, and what I like about this game is it doesn't stray away from the original in a lot of ways. The only thing that they did that kind of strayed away from the original was that they improved upon the gameplay mechanics, and you can play it in a traditional way, or you can do it in the more modern way that they have created for modern players. And I highly recommend that if you haven't played the original Snake Eater, that you should play the remake, because it's not too much of a departure from the original in that respect, and they keep it close to the original as possible without upsetting fans. So they cater to more modern audiences while also catering to people who are fans of the OG classic, which I am myself. And I absolutely love this game. The only problem I had with this game was probably the facial animations. It didn't seem very natural for me, but they kept the music, they kept everything about this game. And mind you, I played the OG game recently prior to this game coming out this year, and I didn't see any barely any departure from the original. The boss fights still the same as far as like how to defeat them. The cheese is still there. You know, the world and the story is all still there, man, and it's absolutely fun. Had a blast with this game. Highly recommend that if you haven't played Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, that you play the remake, because it's pretty much the same, and it gives you two options on how you want to play. If you want to play it like the original classic, or you want to play it in a more modern way. Definitely love the music as well. The main theme, Snake Eater, absolutely amazing, and it still hits you when you hear it. Really love this game. It's a beloved classic, and it's probably one of the best Metal Gears in the Metal Gear series. But for me, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty is my favorite, but Metal Gear Solid 3 is a close second. So with that being said, guys, let's get on to the next game. Alright guys, the second to last game on my list of amazing games that came out in 2025 is Gears of War Reloaded. Now, this game is a remaster, or you could say a remake, but this is my introduction to Gears of War, and I absolutely love this game. Man, I had fun with this game. It was short, it wasn't too long. It was very fun. This is a beloved Xbox classic for some. For me, it definitely became an instant classic when I played it. Love the story, love the enemies, love the guns, love all of that, man. And I feel like I don't have anything bad to say about this game. I love the music, love the gameplay mechanics, love the story. It was short, didn't overstay its welcome, it respects your time. Love the graphics, love the updated graphics. Now, I did a comparison between the original Xbox version and this one, and it's definitely a step up from the original. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the Gears of War series, and you want to jump into the Gears of War franchise, definitely start with the Gears of War Reloaded if you have a PS5. If you don't, then I highly recommend playing the PC version. But this game is absolutely amazing. It's beautiful, it's stunning. I love the art direction, love the atmosphere. It was an absolute blast, and I highly recommend it. So guys, let's move on to the last game on this list. Alright guys, so for the last game on this list for best games of 2025, in my opinion, is a horror game. So let's talk about it. This game, I believe, went under a lot of people's radars, and that game is Chronos: The New Dawn. Guys, this game is absolutely phenomenal. It comes from the studio, the same studio that did the Silent Hill 2 remake, Blooper Team. They absolutely crushed that game, and they absolutely crushed this one. This game was absolutely amazing. It was unique in its approach. It definitely was reminiscent of Silent Hill 2 and Dead Space in a lot of ways. It borrowed from some of the gameplay mechanics of those games and incorporated it into this game, such as the stomp mechanic, the melee mechanic, which was absolutely cool. The only thing I didn't like about this game, guys, was that when you shoot at the enemy's limbs, it doesn't like fall off like it does in Dead Space, which I was kind of like sad about. But other than that, I had a blast with this game. The game was definitely scary. The enemies were very difficult. And resource management is very big in this game. So you got to be very smart with how you manage your resources in this game, and you got to be, you know, very strategic. Let's just put it like that. But this game, story-wise, is very good. I like the whole time travel aspect. I like the plot twist in the game. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but the plot twist was crazy, and that final boss was tough as nails, man. Game was absolutely dope, man. And I like the upgrade system. I like how you can get those like nodes and use those to upgrade your health and your guns. But you got to be smart about that too, because you don't get a lot. And this game has very high replayability. I love the set pieces. Love the art direction. It is very beautiful. It's very bleak. It's very like, how do I say? It's like the game feels lonely because, you know, it's like in a post-apocalyptic world, so there's not a lot of humans left, and you feel like you're by yourself. And the main character is so dope. The plot twist for that is crazy. I did not expect that. But I did know that the main character was a female, but I don't think she has a name per se. So that was crazy. It's just like Traveler 157 or something like that, which is pretty cool. And she sounds robotic for a reason. I promise you, if you stick with the story, They will explain to you why her voice sounds robotic the way that it does, and it just blew my mind. Game is absolutely amazing. I would highly recommend too reading up on some of the lore in the game. There's like a lot of notes and letters left lying around that kind of tells the story as you progress through the story. So the game tells a story through excerpts and little bits of letters here and there that you can read to piece the story together, and I think that's absolutely amazing. I love the bosses too. The bosses were absolutely amazing. They were a fun time. They were very difficult, but fun nonetheless. All I can say is manage your resources as much as you can, especially when it comes to those boss fights, because man, it gets crazy. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video and sharing with me some of my favorite games of 2025. Guys, jump in the comment section and let me know what your favorite games are for 2025. And let me know what you guys look forward to for next year. I think I'm going to be doing a video on my most anticipated games for 2026. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.